all the best players in each position in your state together, going to war together after playing against each other. Now the Brotherhood is big now.
Yeah, big, and it's getting technical.
You know what you're bringing up. I'm excited. You see me glow like right now.
Yeah, go on with it, man.
You see me glow. You tapped into like the core of my business plan and what I'm doing and what I'm about to do like for Dallas.
Brendan Rams is a professional rugby athlete and a high-performance coach from South Africa. He has over 19 years of international experience in the sport, with 12 of those at the professional level. These days, you'll find him playing with the Jackals right here in Dallas, Texas. So in this conversation, Brandon and I talk about all the highlights in his rugby career, and we also dive into the habits, the philosophies, and most importantly, the executions that make a high-level athlete and high-level teams. We dig into his upbringing in Pretoria, South Africa, where things like the Apartheid era, a high level of competition, and very tight brotherhoods built his relationship with the sport. We also talk about the international systems and the international leaders that build great rugby teams and how Brandon's bringing that right here to the United States in Dallas, Texas. We also keep things light, keep things fun, talk about love life, and being unapologetically yourself in the way that you express your energy. So I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation, and I hope you take something away from it. If you're encouraged to support the podcast, please have a look at the Patreon. You'll find it linked in the description. And with that, my name is Alex Shozda. This is the Show's the Show. Let's begin. To start off, what I want to know is if anybody's ever been in the weight room around you or any kind of training activity, the first thing they notice is that you operate on a whole higher frequency than anybody else. You're just full of energy and you love sharing that.
Right.
So what's the philosophy that you have behind that hype and how'd you get there?
So it's not really philosophy. It's called energy and frequency. So that's embedded within a human being, and I'm blessed with that. So automatically I radiate that because of my upbringing and where I'm from. We're not going to jump the gun, but that's how I've always been: high frequency, high energy, high voltage, and I sustain it at that level. Yeah. So I got a rule. Rule number one is don't ever bore rams. I don't like being bored. So anything that's low frequency, I just don't engage with, like, at all. So I always stay at the top at all times. So yeah.
Yeah. How do you maintain all that energy though?
It's easy. It's easy. It's natural. That's where God-given talent merges with hard work and just pure gratitude of your existence for where you are in this moment. For example, like right here, my level of gratitude is extremely high. So therefore, this moment right here, I'll give this moment everything I got. So at all times, wherever I'm at, whatever I'm doing, I give it everything I got at the highest level. So the energy is always on top.
So like even when you're feeling tired, even when you're kind of in the dumps, you have that internal fuel, that engine.
It's
and you go to that
there.
place, it's there.
Yes, sir.
That's beautiful, man. How do you share that with other people?
You live it.
Lead by example?
You live it. Lead by example. You don't even have to explain it. When you live something at the highest form, anyone that's around you will be drawn towards that. And it's a magnetic field that attracts the same kind or people that need it. So if I keep it bottled up to myself, that's me being selfish for this gift that I got, not sharing it to other people. So it's not mine, it's for other people. So therefore, I always have to be on top. That's how it's done.
Yeah. How do you work with people who don't necessarily pick it up so well? It's like, I remember the first time that I saw you over at the Lifetime Club, I thought you were working out with maybe Jason and a couple other guys. And I mean, I had no idea who you were at the time. And I was just thinking, oh man, these guys, they're really loud. They're making a scene. Good for them. But I think they're just putting on a show for a workout. I don't know if they'll be here next week. And then you were there the next day and the next day and the next day. And you just see that high level energy every time. Like people who might not be there every day and they don't see you, just see somebody being really loud. They might even think it's obnoxious. So how do you work with people who don't necessarily like to operate on that frequency?
That's none of my business.
None of your business?
Yeah, whatever they do or whatever they think, like, that's none of my business. and it's called consistency too. And that's how you protect your energy. It's so important, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. It's so important that a human being or anyone identifies that, and you don't take it to heart. If you are who you allow everybody else around you almost like permission to be who they are. That's vital. So it's not put on or anything like that. When you live that and you really are that, that's who you are. So anyone that walks in and repels that type of energy, you automatically fall off. You're not welcome in that frequency. And you need skin thick enough to be able to tell people to go, to go away, because you got to protect that bandwidth. And it's vital. So what anyone thinks, excuse my French, but
No, I completely understand it. Yeah, you got to keep the closest people around you, or all the people around you, people that bring you up.
That's right.
Yeah. So all right, let's talk about rugby a little bit. You're
That's
playing
right.
for the Dallas Jackals now, but before all that, how'd you get started in the sport? I know you were born in Pretoria, South Africa.
That's right.
It's a hotbed for that, especially around the time when you were born.
Absolutely. And I was raised like under the Apartheid era. So initially, like we weren't even allowed to play that sport. And when we started playing that sport, not only was I competing for a place in the team, but I was competing against like other players of my color, which was extremely hard. So I had to be the best of the very best to be chosen and selected for a team, because only 5 of us were allowed to play like within the A team. And out of 5 of us, they would only start about like 2 people. So that means that you really had to be extremely good to be able to play that sport. But I started when I was 13 years old, and it blessed me with so many opportunities and a lot of tours, traveling around the globe, playing tournaments.
Yeah, so before we go in that, can you explain a little bit about apartheid and what that looked like in South Africa? I don't think a lot of people listening might understand that, but maybe touch on what that was like, how Nelson Mandela changed that with the 95 World Cup for rugby.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, because you were born in 89. You're probably like 5, 6 years old when all that was going on. I imagine that must have been huge for motivating you into the sport.
Right. And so imagine, that's why I'm so positive and loving, is because I know what the complete opposite is like. So in its purest form. And I can't do anything but appreciate it. So it didn't make me bitter, like what people use it for. Like it rejuvenated my soul growing up in that era. And I'm very grateful for that, because it helped me identify what's for me and what's not for me. And it paved the way for who I am today as a man and at the level that I love. So like it taught me how to love extremely hard, and just going back to what we initially said, giving a moment everything you got, and being consistent with that too, because I know what it's like being consistent on the complete opposite of things. So I mirror how I was raised at my level on a positive note. So just picture what it was like.
Yeah.
On the negative side of things.
Just kind of every single day you see all the things that were bad that weren't going for you, that you're kind of stuck in, and trying to replace those one by one, making them positive, constructive, productive.
That's right. I used it as fuel. It didn't make me bitter or upset or angry. It actually charged up my batteries, and I still use that as fuel till this day. And that's my little battery pack that I keep like on a daily basis, because I don't ever want to go back there. That's right.
So how'd you find yourself at St. Albans boarding school? I know you were playing rugby there. Was that kind of your start?
That one of the most prestigious old boy boarding schools anyone can ever go to. The culture, the Brotherhood still exists. Like right now, you're forever locked in. The structure, just the dynamics. In fact, I'm glad that you mentioned that also. Being right here at an aquatic center, like we produce like some high swimmers and water polo players and rowers. And you know what camp we come from too, like in the high performance facility in Pretoria with all these Olympic gold medalists, and I was one of the athletes that was raised like under all these guys, and we all grew up like in the same camp. So it's beautiful that you're sitting right opposite me, in charge of this wonderful facility right here, and with what you do and your passion too. So St. Albans College, about 600 boys.
Is that for what grades?
Private school. So I don't know like the grade system here in the US, but from 14 years old all the way to 18. So like your whole high school. In this school, or the schools back at home, that's where you really learn like who you are. You become so dynamic because in a dormitory where we lived, we'd have like a high performance swimmer, like right there. We'd have like a scientist or a mathematician, like in the same dorm, a top tennis player, but all of us knew how to do what everybody did, blended in. And we used to support each other. We lived on campus. Man, great times. We learned how to break rules. You know.
Do you have any stories about some trouble you guys got into?
100%. Oh, yeah. We used to, you know, sneak our girlfriends in, like on the back door. Instead of going to school, like we used to, like, we call it bunking, where we wouldn't go to school and we'd just stay in bed. And then, like, when somebody walks in, like, we just get under the bed and try hide. So it looks like nobody's there. Yeah. So, yeah, we used to, man, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, man, like, taking food and, you know.
All right, being crafty.
Oh, yeah.
You still keep in touch with a lot of the guys that you went to school
absolutely.
With these days?
Every single day.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. We got a strong brotherhood. And to tie that in with who I am and what I do, going back to that initial statement that you made, if somebody walks in and they say, oh, this guy might be obnoxious and all that, and how I handle like people who don't appreciate that energy is because I don't need them. I don't need anyone around. I don't need friends or anything like that because I've got a strong brotherhood.
Yeah, it's like a pack.
For life.
Yeah.
And it's big. That's excluding like the rugby community. Mm-hmm. So anyone that I meet or come across like right now, it's almost like you're lucky or blessed to be around me right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't need you because I already mastered the art of poverty. I already mastered the art of not having. And whatever I've got, it's high quality, like human beings that know how to love at full capacity. So yeah. And that's the brotherhood that we built up until this day. On my phone, like we still keep in contact. The old boys, the ones that were there before me, and even after me, like below me, and we were responsible for all of them too. So like we're still a tight pack.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
Oh yeah.
So how did that fit into rugby and playing rugby at the school? Can you kind of take me through how you developed as an athlete?
So what happened was I was playing basketball and soccer, and the rugby coach looked at me and he pulled me off the basketball court. He says, "You're not playing this." He says, "Come on." And then from then on, my brothers told me the game, and I picked it up immediately, like that.
Were you always a pretty big guy, pretty strong?
No.
So I mean, you stand at like 6'2",
6'1".
6'1".
Yeah.
You're 240, 250.
273.
I bet you could probably move pretty fast too.
That's right.
So it sounds a lot more like somebody on the rugby field than on the basketball court.
Scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing. You want to wear that. It's actually a privilege also to be one of those guys who pride themselves like in doing like the hard stuff, like in the game that opens up the game for everybody else. So played rugby from then on, it became my number one love. Then I focused on it. Anything that I focus on, I become great at. So that's just in my DNA. And I love competition and competing at the highest level, but I'm extremely cutthroat. Like, I'm straightforward. Yeah. And I love my life and I run my business exactly like that, the same way I play. So I can sustain that because that's natural for me.
Absolutely. It's not even work at that point if you have so much passion and
Right.
yeah.
And to be like that, that's razor sharp focus. It's almost like an operator. That's what they do.
Right.
Effortless. Yeah. I love that.
So when was the moment that rugby really clicked for you? Like at what age did you start to realize, I'm pretty good, I could turn this into a professional career, or maybe at college because you...
When I was 15 years old.
15?
Yeah, after playing. When I really got in my groove. And what I enjoyed the most was the things that I was doing on the field. I would see things the night before or the day before, leading up to the game, and I would go out there and do it. Like running over people and the crowd reaction and how the boys playing in the A team and like all the boys that look up to you. So at an early age, you already had like big crowds looking up to you, like young boys, like after a game, like high-fiving you, loving you. Oh man, that's the best player like in the team. Winning games, losing games, learning how to lose. That's a key factor too. How to motivate, communication, field management, how you read the game. That hit when I was 15 years old, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Or so you pretty much became a student of the sport almost.
Still. Yeah. And I love it. So 16, then I was selected to play at the biggest tournament for 16-year-olds in the nation for the #1 team. So it's almost like an all-star
Was that
team.
with the Blue Bulls?
That's right. There you go, the Vodacom Bulls. And then I got to see it at the highest level. Systems, like putting teams together, like really, really good players, all coming together, like in that state. All the best players in each position in your state together, going to war together after playing against each other. Now the Brotherhood is big now.
Yeah, big, and it's getting technical.
It's getting
serious.
Yeah.
Big investments, big plans, big
Let's
execution.
Go. So, man, you're mentioning, you know what you're bringing up. I'm excited. You see me glow. Like
Yeah,
right now.
you can go on with it, man.
You see me glow. You tapped into like the core of my business plan and what I'm doing and what I'm about to do like for Dallas. It's exactly that. Back at home, so you'll play in school. And the best players in those schools will get selected into a camp. Within that camp, they'll choose the best players in that camp to represent that state at all age levels. So when I was 16 years old, I was one of those guys. And you knew where you were headed once you get selected for that. So you go from 16 to 18. And 18, not only are you competing to be the best under 18 tournament, then you get selected for the national side. So now, whoever the best players in the state get selected to represent the state, then the best players in that team will get selected for the national side. They will represent the country. So that's like having like a team made up of Pro Bowl players. No, I can't say Pro Bowl because you got to include like the Super Bowl too. So all the best players in each state form one super team that will represent the U.S. in an international tournament. They will play against England. They'll play against like Scotland, Wales, Australia, Fiji, Samoa, Argentina, and you travel the world together. Best thing ever.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way to bring sport into it.
Best thing ever. Boys from all walks of life, like different cultures, different ethos, how they think,
how does it look like when you're bringing together all these different athletes from different states, different teams? They all have different playing styles. How do you get them from kind of competing against each other to being a same team and working super well with each other, even though they never played together before? They're always playing against each other.
That's what I do in that gym.
What's the secret?
It's the highest form of management. It's a gift. Not many coaches can pull that off. Because you can have like a group of best players and they won't have the same synergy. But that's what I do in there. I'm a powerful leader because I was raised under that. So that's normal for me. So within that, we speak the same language because of who is in charge. Man, I'm getting excited about this. It's always about the leader and who's in charge. You look at who's coaching you. You look at the direction where they're going and what they've already achieved. Like personally, you'll know where you're going. For example, as an entrepreneur, look at who's giving you advice. Look what they already achieved and look where they're going. Then you decide what direction you're going to go and who to listen to. Health and fitness. Look at your coach. What's your coach's background? Are they just a certified personal trainer? What's their experience? Where are they going? Why are they doing it? Because everybody talks passion, but what's the core of you doing this? What's your background? For example, when you coach, your core is aquatics. My core is high performance, rugby. That's the core. So when you bring executives in one room, high profile executives in one room, and your regular human being, different fitness levels and so on, how do you get them all to get on the same mission and actually bring out the best out of them for this specific task on a daily basis? Nobody can teach you that. That little textbook, that your little degree, and that won't teach you that. That comes from firsthand experience, being a part of a team. Years and years and years and living that when you really are that. Knowing systems, team culture, execution. How do you how do you manage yourself leading up to a game? There are 4 seasons in a year. How long is a season? All that stuff plays into consideration. You pack it all in. You say, okay, this is how I live my life now. That's called greatness. Whether you feel like it or whether you don't, this is what we do. So whatever I did and do as an athlete, I just applied it as an entrepreneur.
Right. You
Best
need
thing
to
ever.
understand that firsthand experience before you could teach it to other people and use it to lead other people.
Yes, sir.
You talked a lot about being there and seeing things, but your rugby career's also been pretty much all over the world. You played St. Albans College, boarding school. You played in college at Pretoria University. Then you came here to the U.S. and played for a few teams as well. So how do you see the sport being different in all the different leagues, all the different countries that you played it in?
Rugby is the fastest growing sport in the U.S. ahead of lacrosse with the highest participation rate. It's the second biggest team sport in the world outside of soccer. However, the most successful team in the history of sport, the All Blacks. That's the number 1 team. So here in the U.S., I had to mention that before I break it down here in the U.S. Mm-hmm. It's fairly new, so to say in inverted commas, not really. And it's pro now here in the U.S. Mm-hmm. It's not getting a lot of traction, as it should be. Once they bite onto it, it'll surpass football because it's non-stop, and there's 2 forms of rugby. There's 7s and 15s. 2 different styles. 7s, super fast. Fewer people. 15s, steak and potatoes. That's an event. Both of them have World Cups. And it's an Olympic sport. So now with the different styles that are played across the globe versus here the IQ is low of the game and the execution and understanding. Very low. But that's why we're here. Because guess what happens to our natural game when you and I are on the field and you say, how is this guy reading why is he getting to that space so fast? You spend more time with advanced human beings. You become advanced. So you automatically bring the standard back up. It's a little slow here. It's ultra fast everywhere else. But now it's picking up pro. I'm predicting this might be the biggest year of pro rugby here in the US. This year. A lot of teams are going to do record-breaking numbers too. And they'll bite onto a sport this year.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
I believe that.
Do you see rugby pulling a lot of athletes from other sports?
Absolutely.
Like a lot of football players, lacrosse,
yes,
soccer players,
100%,
hockey players even?
100%.
And then do you think that they bring a whole different element to the game? Because it's kind of non-traditional the way you play football or hockey or lacrosse compared to traditional rugby. And I imagine some of it might need to be relearned, but some of it might also be really useful. So with all the guys that you work with, you see any sports that kind of stand out, that give them like almost an American edge of playing rugby?
Americans are blessed with one thing: genetics. Super athletes. Ultra. With no guidance, though. They're all over the show. You bring order and structure into these youngsters and direction. Like I mentioned earlier, that I knew when I was 16 years old, from this, I'm going to make it to 18. Under 18 tournament, you go pro. Under 19s, then there's under 20s or 21s. Then you go senior level. There's no feeder system like that for any of these athletes. So they get lost, thrown away. Oh man, I'm giving you all my juice right now. So I'm the only one with a direct feeder system actually in Dallas. And SMU is also a part of it. Where the boys will know from junior, we go SMU. From SMU, you play D1. D1, you play pro. And we're going to bring all of that together. And we want to keep it in-house, meaning all the talent is retained right here. And that's how you use like your network to keep all that right here. So if the boys need to study something, SMU needs to get first dubs for anyone that comes out my camp, instead of other colleges getting all this talent. So we've been busy with that like right now. And it's exciting. It's really exciting. I already got the green light from Jesuit. And we're going to bring a different level of culture firsthand to Dallas in general. And you guys, when I say you guys, I mean like all faculties will be able to benefit from this. And that's exactly what we need.
So before we go more into kind of what you're doing with SMU and your rugby and personal business, how did you come to the United States? Like, what brought you here from South Africa?
Vision.
Kind of that entrepreneurial vision,
yes.
Opportunities.
I'm very obedient to that. Like I'll see things in advance that don't make sense to any human being. But once I speak it, whatever I say I'm going to do, I'm going to do it. And it was that back at home, years, like 5 years prior to me even coming here. And even as a youngster, I always said, hey, I'm gonna live in the US one day. Everybody laughed at me.
I can relate to that. So my whole family's from Poland. My mom and my uncles used to tell me stories that it was like a running joke that if somebody would ask you where you're going and you didn't want to tell them and you'd be kind of sly about it,
right.
say, oh, I'm off to Hawaii, right? To Honolulu.
Right.
And it would just
Brush
be a
it
joke
off,
because
yeah.
nobody thought that you'd ever go to Hawaii, Honolulu.
Exactly.
So I imagine same thing. You're saying, oh, I'm going to America, and people just think, oh, that's a funny joke.
That's a funny joke.
Yeah.
You and I can relate on that level. Being international and being a foreigner. But when something burns in your soul, you'll do it.
So you had the idea that you're going to bring that feeder system of rugby and your passion to the sport to the U.S.
Right.
And that was the main driver.
Right.
So how'd you get started? What were your first steps when you made it here?
So leading up to that, I was still playing pro at senior level back at home.
Okay.
While I was still playing, I was figuring out like how to get a visa, how to come to the U.S. and all that. Once I figured that out, I applied for a visa. But because I was pro, then I got the B1 visa for 6 months. Man, when I got that, I said, man, I got my U.S. visa, so I can really go like now if I want. So I went to my team and I asked the CEO for a raise because the guy that's on the bench was getting double my salary. And I'm the captain. That doesn't make sense. So I asked him and he says, oh, we don't have a budget. A whole lot of bullshit. So I said, okay. And I was supposed to lead the team on that weekend it was a big game. Bought a ticket on the Wednesday night. Friday flew out.
Just like that.
Austin Bergstrom Airport, landed, 2 suitcases, got on the free Wi-Fi, charged it up, sent a message to the Austin Huns, like on the Facebook, hey, I'm here at the airport, I need someone to pick me up. I play at this level and so on. I got a response later. I had no chip or anything, so I didn't have like the chip, so nobody could call me. So it was just like on back and forth. Somebody came on out. Donnie Harbert got me out. And then lived with my brother Mark Laguerre. Still my brother till this day. Actually, he's got a special appointment coming up like in April that I'm blessed to be a part of. And played for the Huns, but I was so good. They'd never seen anything like that, and I was so ruthless. Then I had to come back to renew the stay. Then when I came back, I got messages from like the other teams. They're like, "Hey, what can we do to have you back here? We need you." I said, "I just need accommodation, and if you guys, help me out like with other jobs, okay?" So I used to dig trenches, do landscaping, like manual labor stuff, like from 6 a.m. all the way up to 6 p.m. And then from there, I'd go to rugby training. Real rough. Yeah. But I had to get it done to make a buck so I can eat, and I never cared. And before even doing manual labor, I used to work out. As soon as the gym opened up, like at 5, I was the first one in. So these habits and whatever you're seeing right now, that's normal. Me getting up at that hour, like every single day, like whether I party, whether I don't, I'm getting up. This is what we're gonna do. This
like clockwork. It's built into you.
It's part of my DNA. I don't even have to force it. I sleep good. People always ask, "Hey, when do you sleep?" No, I sleep good. So I played. Then the rival team gave me a nice deal. Came back. They bought my ticket. Came back. And the rest is history. Part of the first ever Pro League, 2016. Current champions and only champions. Then that was in Denver. Lived in Denver for about 6 years.
The Stampede, right?
Yes. The Denver Stampede champions, and we're still tied with the Brotherhood. A lot of us are still active, like right now, with the MLR. And then came back to Austin, And at the time, I was still married. Then we moved to Dallas so she can pursue her doctorate to become a chiropractor. And then we went our separate ways, but I stayed here. That was years ago. And best thing ever. Coming to Dallas was the best thing ever.
Yeah, what do you like so much about it?
The opportunities.
Seems like always, or a lot of people here have an open mind.
Yes.
Everybody's kind of friendly in a sense that they want to explore new ideas.
Yes.
I always remember too, the first time I came to Dallas, my dad used to say, he was a Polish immigrant too, so he had this very kind of romantic vision of America.
Right.
And he loved Texas and the saying that everything's bigger in Texas.
Yes.
Yeah, so I remember the first time I came here, you have huge highways, huge buildings, everything's like done big and done well, and that was my idea. All right, everything's bigger in Texas.
Right.
And it was right here in Dallas. It sticks with me to this day.
I love that. When did you get here?
So I came to Dallas in 2020, but I was coming for some conferences, like engineering conferences at the convention center downtown before that, maybe like 2018.
Right.
So not a long time. I grew up in Illinois, close to Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And then I went to University of Wisconsin-Madison, did some swimming there, studied engineering.
Wise man.
Yeah, so just jumping around a whole bunch, but I love Texas.
This is it. This is you now.
Yeah, so back to rugby, though.
Yeah, let's get it.
You were jumping around on the Austin team, on the Denver Stampede, then you came back to Dallas. I know somewhere in there, I read, at least, that you suffered a knee injury.
Right.
So if you don't mind talking about that,
Multiple injuries.
Yeah.
The knee injury came right after my Achilles rupture.
Yeah, so how did that affect your game, your mentality?
It was a gift.
Okay.
It was a blessing, too, because I learned a lot about myself. A lot. You learn a lot about a human being by how they handle things like that. Trouble, chaos, when things don't go right, setbacks. That's how you bring out the best out of somebody. And I always kept a positive attitude on a daily basis. So the self-talk and the self-confidence that you see now, that was me when I was in bed by myself. Not being able to walk, not being able to use my body the way I wanted to. Back to back. So I had to learn how to walk from birth and 3 times after that. 9-month-long injuries. They'll do your head in. They'll do your head in. And it says a lot about a man's character too, when you come back and you're better than when you were down. So that edge is what separates, one of the reasons why nobody can compete with me in anything that I do. Because I don't compete, I dominate. Because I mastered myself. I know myself. I know what I'm capable of. I know how to say no. I know how to say yes. I'm comfortable within my own skin. I think big. I know how to recover. I know what those injuries did for my soul. I know how people treat you when you're injured. I know the comments, the ridicule, the backlash. I know all that. That didn't do anything. Fueled me. If not, at the least. So being on my back and all the people that were hoping, they're not hoping anymore.
Yeah, they see what you're doing.
I'm in your face. I do it on purpose. I'm in your face. I'll never respond. But I'll show you. Always.
Does that play a big role in your coaching too?
Absolutely.
Having that experience?
Absolutely.
How do you tie that in with your athletes who haven't been injured but expect some kind of chaos, like you said, adversity?
I created for them.
So you prepare them for it.
Correct. And I'm pressure. So they know what my nature's like. So on a daily basis, I'll create scenarios that puts them under pressure to where they are comfortable with what I throw at them. They'll do anything. Like, that's why they're so dominant, like right now. Yeah, my
You
boys
need to know how to adapt, be comfortable
Very
with the
fast.
uncomfortable.
very fast, very fast. Think fast, move fast, no dead time. One wrong move, you just slip off a treadmill. If you're not focused and you try, you're on like under the bar will drop down, and that's all on you because you're not paying attention. That's how it is in the game. You blink, here I come, 273 pounds, full speed on your weak shoulder, and I pick the weak shoulder because I know you don't want to use the weak shoulder. Then I run over you. You weren't ready for that, and that's how I play. I throw things at you that you're not ready for. Or I tell you I'm coming directly at you, and I look at you and I'm coming directly at you. What are you gonna do? I don't go left. I look at you in your eyes and you see me coming in full pace. Right at you. And we're making eye contact like this. It's a beautiful scene, and I've never lost that battle. So that's how I attack my day. I come at you. That's that other nature that I protect, that I love so much. That nature, the animosity and the ferocity of that other nature walk side by side with the nice Rams. All of them, they're like this. They're like twins. And they're always on go. And both of them, I keep them fed. So there's no weakness. That dog is on top always. Same thing, like as a gentleman, as a nice guy, motivating guy, just in case.
So you always need to have the balance, and you need to know which one comes where.
Rather be a warrior in a garden.
All right.
You know the rest.
Yeah. So what does playing rugby look like these days for you with the Jackals?
We're figuring it out. Character building. Very character building. So, hopefully I'll be able to step in as a minority owner just to bring a couple of experiences and culture to the setup. It's brand new. Brand new. So it's rough if we got the setup that we have coming into like a spicy league like this. Because it is. I said it, this season right here is easily the most competitive and the hottest season this country has ever witnessed. So, we'll be ready. At least if we can compete, just stop the bleeding a little bit, that's a big victory for us. Last year we went 16-0. I got sick for a whole week because I hate losing. I know how to lose, like on the day, but I despise losing. Yeah. I know how to take it on the chin, but it doesn't mean I'm okay with it. And that really messed with me for some time, so I had to shake it back. I got so upset that it rattled my soul a little bit. And so now I put that energy into what you've seen. Mm-hmm. So that energy, like everything I put in, and I don't ever want it to go away. It's impossible for it to go away anyway. So it's gonna keep coming. And that's at a small scale too. Micro scale.
Mm-hmm. What's coming next with it?
Big.
Tell me about it. Or at least anything that's not under the covers that you want to share.
No, it's very transparent that I want my own house. I need my own house. I'll do bigger things. I'll serve more. Most importantly, it's my team that I have. That's the most sought after commodity in the health and fitness industry. I already have my team. And I'll pay my team extremely well because I know what it's like not being paid well. And being appreciated. That's what these companies and these organizations don't understand, is be for the people. The rest will take care of itself. But they're doing it the other way around. So they're always blowing up fumes. I'll never go on sale. I'll never do no marketing promo. I'm not even inviting anyone. It runs itself. The same way I did it like over there. Because what I'll bring in is the number one high performance facility in Dallas that will house an international team. There's no place like that that's also accessible to the public, because they want to make it exclusive only for the Dallas Cowboys or ice or basketball or just like FC Dallas or just UFC. My guys will be accessible, hands-on with the community. That's number one, is community and outreach, where you're not a better human being than anybody else. However, in your field of expertise, you might be a professional. But then we're going to coexist like the ecosystem. Meaning that you're the best at what you do, I'm the best at what I do. We sit right next to each other, we train together, we live our lives together, because we're going to be doing this for the rest of your lives. So you want to find people who are high energy, who enjoy it, who do this on a daily basis at the highest level, because you can't drop your standards, because it transcends into your entire day and who you are and your aspirations. So you want to spend time around like someone like me who's got like these visions and who's excited, who's chasing something, who's going for something, but knows how to execute every single step, where you're not rushing the process, where you're building slow, where you're appreciating where you are and working towards where you want to go. Just like agriculture. Till the soil first, plant the seed, nurture and water the soil. At any given time you stop that process, the seed will die in the ground. And on the other side, guess what happens when you follow that system?
Yeah, you have to be patient, but you grow a beautiful plant, a beautiful tree.
Keyword. Patience. And what does patience mean? It's the ability to, hold on. Let me not miss this. I gotta give this to you.
So yeah, in the meantime, while you're looking it up, there's the previous head coach for the men's college team here. His name's Eddie Sinnott. He was coaching them for well over 30 years, number of Olympians, like
Right.
Highly accomplished, highly respected, outstanding swim coach. And one of the sayings that he used to say is the hay's in the barn.
Yeah.
As in, like, you're a farmer,
Yeah.
you put the hay in the barn, you fed your animal, you trained the animal. So the hay's in the barn, just open the doors and let it all out.
That's it. Open the doors and let it all out. I understand that.
Just like you do the work, you put in the time, you have the patience.
hay's in the barn.
So then you have all this preparation. It's time to just open the doors, relax, let it happen, let everything pay off.
Normal. Don't think about the big stage. I always say this. So patience is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. That's key.
That last part is key too.
Key.
Without
getting upset.
Exactly.
Right. Delay, trouble, all those things. So when it's competition time, let the doors come out. When you wake up in the morning, let the doors come out. And then stock it up again. Daily deposits. I like that.
Yeah, so on patience, you're clearly super high energy guy. You have these big ambitions. So what do you do outside of rugby and outside pursuing your businesses to help you with that patience?
I used to be in the anti-poaching unit. So, and I'm level 4, private protection officer. Right, bodyguard. So, all those things that people struggle with, I'm great at. I don't even have to explain it. So, that's normal for me, being patient. because of how I grew up and the environment that I was raised under and all the stuff that I did, like in the field. All that stuff, that's normal. So I don't struggle with any of that. And what I do, like outside of rugby and coaching, I love to have fun. Anything that's not fun, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, work hard, play hard, right?
Anything that's not fun, I'm not doing it. Sorry. I don't care. It can be low budget. I'd rather go with you outside, bro. We can throw a frisbee. I don't like being indoors. That's me. Gotta do something outside. Let's go grab a meal, lunch. Let's go look at people, interact. I have to be outside. Like at all, like I don't even need a house. Just go there to eat, sleep. Most of the time, I'm outside. Always. Otherwise, you're dying inside, mate.
Totally understand that.
Bro, you're dying inside. Like, what are you doing sitting down? You can only sit down for so long. Like now with us, like that's me sitting down. And it's a healthy sit down. But I'm not just going to sit down and put on TV. I don't watch TV. I got no purpose for that. What I do instead is listen to podcasts while driving or while I'm cooking. I'll play it. Interviews is number one. I study interviews.
Yeah, see how other people think.
I study interviews of highly successful human beings. And what I catch, what I really study is their problem solving. That's what I look for. Not the glory, not how they make money, but like the issues they deal with.
And how they approach it, right?
How they execute and deal with that stuff. Like the ugly stuff. Trouble that they're weighing through, obstacles that they're weighing through, what it did for them. I like that more. I don't care about like the $1 million, the billionaire. I'm gonna get that. I'm okay with that. I'm built for that. I'm not gonna struggle with that. I welcome that. Where I put my focus is the nitty-gritty details behind their lifestyles. That's my key focus. To say, oh, okay. The COO was his best friend. For example, like let's say you and I get to a certain level and I go, we've married each other for some time now. You're an engineer, okay, come on. And then ride the wave. So you naturally do what you do within this capacity and this machine that I'm building for the rest of their life. That's the relationships that I pick up from most of these guys, who they do business with, deals that fell off, what type of approaches that they were given in closing these deals that didn't go through. Stuff I study stuff like that, so I can identify the Grim Reaper miles away.
Right. So you kind of study problems that other people have had,
and I learn
so that when the time comes, you don't necessarily make the same mistakes.
I'll never do it. I learn from other people. Always learn from other people.
You like history?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing about history. I know a lot of people study it for the same reason.
Yep. Look where we at right now. That's why I'm great. There's nothing new under the sun. Yeah.
Well, all right, man. That's pretty much everything that I really wanted to cover. But I'll leave you with one more question. It's the one that I always finish up these chats with. So if you were on this side of the table, you were sitting in my shoes, what's one topic or one question that you would ask that I haven't yet?
Love life.
All right, love life. What do you got to say on it?
I'm asking you. And you want to know about me?
Or you're asking me about my love life? I haven't gone on a date in like 7 or 8 years.
Why is that?
Why? Probably I do a really bad job of putting myself in a place to meet a nice girl. And also kind of like you, I tie myself up with some kind of project, some kind of focus. So if somebody's like, hey, you want to go out to the bar and meet some girls? I was like, no, I have these podcasts to edit. I'd rather do that. So probably a lot of that. Maybe how I was raised, other kind of situations like that. Figuring it out. You?
What if I told you I'm the solution to that?
Tell you I'm listening.
What if I told you that I'll help your day and your week to where you can manage that? Because that's vital. That's very important as a king to at least be made felt like a king. Because that's very important. So I'm alive. I'm alive. Just like you, my Monday to Friday, nobody's got access to me. At all. Friday night, maybe, depending on what's happening on Saturday. But if I'm playing on Saturday, Monday to Friday, no access. But guess what happens after I play on Saturday? Let the doors open. I love a good time, always. And I've got no rules outside of that. That's healthy for your mental state. Break the rules down and just be free. Every single week, you'll have a blast. You'll enjoy your life a little more. And even this becomes exciting because you're not thinking about content. It's natural. So it allows you also to be expansive. And as you interact and spend time with these folks too, for where you're going, they'll assist you because your network grows and they enjoy spending time with you and hearing like, man, Alex is very smart. Hey, Alex, yeah, we got a business dinner. There's this event coming up. Come sit with us. Especially youth. How young are you right now?
27 years young.
There you go. These guys at the top love spending time with us. And we need to spend more time with them too. And the ladies too. We're in demand. That's it. The averages are crazy right now. So we figure it out. You never know until you put yourself out there. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I don't like it. I love it. And it's a good and healthy thing. So wear it on your shoulders. A lot of people like pretending. We don't do that. Like, we don't need to pretend. We don't need to put on like, oh, we all these saints and like kumbaya. We'll skip that. We'll live an exciting lifestyle, regardless of like what anybody thinks. Back to initially, if somebody else like looks at it and thinks like, oh, this guy's obnoxious or like something. Hey,
not your problem.
Hey, that sounds like a you problem, bud. You see me too. Like when I coach, just to cap this off, I don't give a damn what anybody does. My focus is what's under my umbrella. So whether you're chilling on your phone over there or like, hey, good for you, but
yeah, dude, it was like you told me last week. You came up, you were like, yeah, man, I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you know exactly the right time when to be one.
Yeah, I said, dude, like, what do these people want from me? Like, you want a little high five every 2 seconds for trying something? Get out of here. Right. Get out of here. Yeah, I said, we're not doing that, dude. Like, get in on a mission. I don't need a pat on the back for anything that I do. I don't need anyone to come. I already know. That's why my coaches love me. I don't need to be managed. I don't need anyone to nurture for my little emotions or like stuff like that. No, dude. This is what we do. Okay? Participation trophies. What is that? Who? The dumbest thing ever. Oh, be glad I'm here. No. I'd rather not have you be here. Be grateful I showed up. No. I'd rather have you stay your ass in bed. Because a lot of people shutting it down too. You know, I get so excited about this. Somebody says, at least I'm here. And I looked at him and I said, get out. I said, I don't want that here. Don't just show up. Because somebody who's ready to show up is going to show up.
Yeah, and they're going to do the work.
And they're going to do the work. Oh, yeah, show up. At least I'm here. I don't want your presence over here like that. Yeah, 10%. Get away. You're not going to drain my energy. That's why I kick people out. Like I'm notorious for that. Get away. People think that's why I say like I know, but whoever's around, they know like, hey, look, dude, whatever we're dealing with, like in your personal life and all that.
You leave it at the door.
Don't even leave it at the door. That means that you came with it. Get rid of it. Because when they start talking about issues, I go, oh yeah, oh, by the way, I say, okay, you know, like, oh man, my dad passed away like about 2 years ago, and you know, right after that, like this, that, and then I'll give them everything. And then they'll look at me, they'll be like, oh shit, I'm actually being a big baby right now. And I say, yeah, exactly. Don't wear that stuff, ever. That's why I'm very specific with energy. When people walk in and you just see it in their face, like, I just look to the other. I don't even greet them. I just walk right past you. Like you don't exist. And I hope you learn that too. I want to give you that. You'll become a larger than life character. Like once you master that art, you can be a celebrity or whatever it is. I read energy. If your energy is off, I'll walk right past you. I don't even want you to touch me. That's contagious. When you're buzzing, oh yeah, you get Rams. Oh yeah, you get Rams. All of me, you get all of me. All right, now we can vibe out now. And with the same inside here, with the same out there, with the same human being, like when we go out, the consistency in who you are, when you're transparently who you are, life becomes open and easy. So why not? Why not? That's why I say like love life. Why not? You're amazing behind the screen. You're amazing in person. Hey, okay, let that same human being be the same everywhere else.
Absolutely.
That's right. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, man. Thanks, Ram. You've been awesome.
Got you, dog.
Well, thank you very much for listening through the podcast. If you're enjoying it, please visit the Patreon page that I've linked in the description. Contributing over there is a great way to show me that you're getting some value out of it and that you also want to see it grow. So with that, thank you once again for listening. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next podcast. Cheers.